the story of Genesis, chapter 2. We've left off where God has created the earth, and it is the end of the 6th day. The heavens and earth and all of the animals and plants have been created. And God is looking down upon Adam, who now stands alone. For Lilith, whom he first created, has left the garden. And after 6 full days of great work of creation, the Lord proclaims that upon the 7th day there shall be a day of rest. And so it is upon the Sabbath. A holy day is proclaimed that every 7th day should be a period of rest. And so it is, from that point forward, God looked down upon the world and the Garden of Eden and saw that he had not yet created the rain to come. And so he caused for a great mist to come up and water all of the plants of the garden. And he created one great river to flow through the garden for watering all the life. And he also created this great river to flow out from the garden, splitting into 4 great rivers. The river Pison, heading into the land of Havilah, where in that land was gold, onyx, and bdellium. The river Gihon through Ethiopia, and the river Hittacul through Assyria, and the river Euphrates. These 4 rivers flowed out into the land from the Garden of Eden. And there, within his Garden of Eden, he saw that Adam was still alone. As he began to name all of the animals, each unto their own, each name given. And then, as he saw that Adam was alone, as he had promised before, he created a companion for Adam and caused him to fall into a deep sleep, whereby he took a rib from Adam and created Eve to be with him. And together, Adam and Eve lived within the Garden of Eden, dwelled there. Upon the evenings, they would walk together with the Lord in companionship and union. And then, one day, as Eve was walking within the garden alone, a serpent came upon her and began to talk to her about the tree of good and evil. The tree that the Lord had commanded both Adam and Eve not to eat of, for to do so would bring about death for them. But the serpent spoke unto Eve, "It is not death, it is knowledge. God does not want you to be as he." The serpent cajoled. And so from there, Eve began to think that if it is not death but knowledge, and that to be as a God, why she should not eat of the fruit. And seeing that the fruit was good and of a pleasant nature, she did eat of the fruit. And she did bring the fruit to Adam, and he too ate of the fruit. And upon eating of the fruit, knowledge was indeed gained. It was knowledge of a balance of good and evil. It was knowledge of strife and hardship and the balance. To gain death, death was gained in the eating of the fruit, for no more was eternal life a part of their existence. And the balance of good and evil coming into the world brought the balance of life and death into the world of Adam and Eve. And they also now knew shame, for they had walked amongst the garden without clothes, and now sought to create clothes from fig leaves. And when it came time that evening to walk with the Lord, they hid from him in their shame. But he called out to them to come forth. Adam replied, "I am afraid, for we are not clothed." And God spoke down, "How is it that you know you are not clothed? Have you eaten of the fruit?" When Adam admitted that he had, God spoke unto him, "Why have you done this?" And Adam replied, It wasn't me. It was Eve. Eve made me do it." And God looked unto Eve, "Why have you done this?" And Eve spoke, "It was not me. It was the serpent. The serpent made me do it." And God looked upon the serpent and asked, "Why have you done this?" And the serpent merely cowered and slithered. And then God spoke, for he was deeply saddened, looking upon the condition of the garden, that the balance of life and death had been brought to the garden, and the consequences now that would fall upon his creations. They would fall from the divine nature that they once had. And now, with the knowledge of good and evil, he could not have them eat of the fruit of the tree of life and gain eternal life, for this would upset the balance of creation. And so it was, he informed them that they must leave the garden, and that out there in the world they would toil, that the snake and man would forever have enmity between them for his beguiling of man, that man would ever threaten to step upon the snake, and the snake would forever threaten to bite at his heels. That in the process of life and death, now the birthing of children would be born by the woman, and there would be great pain. And that for the man who would toil upon the earth, that the land would be cursed to not provide only edible, beautiful fruits, but there would also be weeds and poisonous things upon the earth that he must contend to scrape and scratch a living from this world. And so it was. Adam and Eve were ordered from the garden, and the great fiery cherubim was put before the gate to guard the garden. And as God watched them go, the cherubim asked, "What happens now?" And God looked upon them. One day I shall create a pathway for them to return unto me. But for now they must go and experience the toils of life.